everybody, and welcome back to another video. And as you can see here, we have part 2 of the World Draft Series, and this is probably going to be the final part. And we're not going to be seeing a peace treaty overall, I don't think, over the whole thing. That's going to take way too much time with all these countries. But we will see like the winning teams, and we'll probably see like governments and just a lot of stuff to do like that. So let's get into it. By this point, we're in America's down here. And, yeah, it's not going very good for Mexico. Mexico's crying right now. They'd have no one to help them. And, eventually, yeah, all the land is getting taken. They have been steamrolled by the USA. They'll either surrender or their troops will be captured. But, back down here to Venezuela, the USA has now been landing in here. And yeah, it's been taken. That was pretty easily, and that's going to be like mainly what we see happening here for the main episode. Besides for this part, where we see Colombia pushing most of these dudes back, besides for like the Amazon. And even down here, Brazil is going to be helping Bolivia out now, just a bit. Especially over in their capital, they're going to recover a lot of this land. But yet, Peru is still putting up a lot of work, and they've almost besieged the capital. They're besieging the capital as we speak. And down here, much of the same is kind of going on. This is mainly Chile's troops, because Argentina is now focused on trying to save Uruguay. And Paraguay, well, at this point, they're pretty much a lost cause, because they captured that area back. But the northern part of the country is gone, and now Brazilian troops are leaking into Argentina. And just want to say real quick, I released this on my post a little while back. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to be releasing some animations I made for Country Balls, if you're interested in that. We just got to hit to 200 subscribers, and I'm going to release them. So if you want to see those, go ahead and show your support. But anyway, Argentina is still trying to put up a fight here. They're not really doing much. And at this point, Brazil is sending a lot of their troops over to the Bolivian area now, because they can do so. And yeah, it's going pretty good for them. And back up to here, the Ecuadorians are kind of suffering. The Galapagos are taken after a very deadly fire. Wink wink. And the yeah, they're gone. Goodbye. So much for them. They didn't do anything. And yeah, so that's the main thing of what we see here. But the US is slowly gonna start sending some more troops down to here. But the most of their forces are either focusing on occupying most of these northern areas up here. So all the blue team up here, even down to Venezuela, is being occupied by USA. And Brazil is now able to focus on this area a lot more. And they're also sending their troops over to Europe, where they land in Galicia, and this is going to help out the Spanish a lot more. And Lisbon is under threat, and that's all that's left of Portugal. But they're also going to make it over to the capital of Morocco. Rabat, is that how you say it? I think so. But yeah, they're going to make it there. And by this point, there doesn't really left to Morocco. All their good stuff is up here in the north. It's already captured. Algeria did most of this, but they didn't do like too much, you know, if you know what I mean. And now they're marching through the Sahara to go against Chad, or this is Mali actually. I keep getting them mixed up. But in reality, this isn't happening. This is just colors on the map. But eventually, down here, Morocco slowly getting pushed away. But these dudes down here are now able to capture Ghana's capital back and make their way into Togo, capturing all of it. Capturing all of it back. Yeah, capturing all of it. And then remarching into Benin. We're going to get pretty far. into just all these areas. We need to make this more accurate. Okay, there we go. That's better. Something like that. And then they're also going to send some aid up to Senegal. So there is a pretty good block here that can fend for themselves until at least the main of Nigeria's forces get out, which most of them aren't out yet. But now we really see them start to pick up as they recapture Togo, or most of it anyway. But focusing down south here, South Africa is going to use Madagascar as a landing area for Mozambique, and with the help of everyone surrounding them, these guys are going to eventually just fall. This is like the gist of all their forces. So like they send like absolutely all their forces, and eventually they will get them out. But the cost is pretty heavy, as Namibia is getting attacked, and I want to say like a lot of this area is getting attacked as well. So I think this is the Central African Republic. That's this. This would be just the Republic of the Congo. Yeah, I think. Yeah. No, this is Zambia. This is Zambia. Yeah. So this is Zambia, and they're dying. Yeah, that's about it. But now that Tanzania and Kenya are connected up, they're going to be doing some work here. Rwanda is going to be going through the DRC like in real life. I think anyway. I don't know if that's still happening. I did research a little bit of that a while ago, but Uganda's gone. And realistically here, Kenya's going to be doing some stuff. But South Sudan is going to be just folded here. There isn't much they can do. It gets to about like this. Now there's like two main blocks here. There is the Eastern African bloc on both sides, the Eastern African bloc on both sides, and then the Western African bloc on both sides. So, but now Libya is cut off from them. And at this point, there's nothing left of Libya, so they surrender. So now it's looking like this. And, oh yeah, Morocco surrenders too. So that gets them out of the way. But, reaching back over to Asia, Mongolia is dead. They'd probably look something more like this, if we're being more honest. But yeah, they're dead. The Russian area over here in Stakhalin, yeah, that's gone. These islands will remain under Japanese control, and this area will be fought back against the North Koreans. They won't be able to keep most of it. But now the Indians are starting their advance into Pakistan. And I can go on and on about Pakistan and China doing this. I mean, Adis Pro does a whole video about it. If you haven't watched that video, go watch it. I recommend it. Very good video. But yeah, I can go on and on about this, but we really don't need to. Because at the end of the day, not much. This is probably going to be happening. Oh yeah, and Taiwan's gone. And the Zygon is being attacked, so is that Zygon? I forgot. Whatever. But down here, Australia will fight back this here. And Indonesia now has to worry about this over here. And the fight on the islands, which honestly would probably go pretty well for them. But that at the end of the day, they're not going to be focusing many troops over here, so yeah, it was pointless. Where they're really going to be focusing at is Malaysia, as they're gone, Singapore and all of them is gone. And something like that will probably happen. Where they go up to here. And maybe Philippines can fight back with the help of these guys. But now there's like a pretty big block here that India is really tying them together. So if they can get Indonesia out of the way, they could probably win over here. But now back over to here. Now the Germans are going to be doing some things, and they're going to go down to, and they're going to reinstate the Austerlitz, and they're going to take over Austria once again, as well as reliberating some of Hungary. We call this East Austria now. And we go down in Slovenia, and they reach up to the Adriatic, so that is not good. And in reality, they're probably not doing this. When the French and the Spanish probably are able to move over to here, they're going to be forced back a lot. Probably by this much, once all the forces get here. But up here, it's not really a big stronghold, and Warsaw is captured. As well as Stockholm, or this is Oslo. No, this is Stockholm. I'm out of it today, guys. I'm sorry. Stockholm is going to be threatened, and the oil is going to be stolen from the Norwegians. And it's not very good up there, actually. It's pretty bad. But the Finnish are slowly going to start losing more and more of their territory. Eventually the capital will be taken, Helsinki, and they're going to keep marching. Whatever there, Sweden's kind of like the last stronghold here. Finland's still there. Finland's still there. But yeah, by this point, the Lisbon distraction is gone. And now, most of the forces are focused up here. And the Netherlands is taken. So Germany's on the chopping block. But they have connection to Russia. And speaking of Russia, they have moved into Kiev. And they're starting to take more and more land over here. Meanwhile, they've taken all this area back. And, well, Georgia, all these guys are gone. And it basically ends up looking like this. Where Turkey will get their troops out of Iran. They did not know what they were doing there. But the help is on the way, as Damascus is taken, and an offensive from Saudi in the desert is created, where they're able to link up all these front lines. So now there's kind of like one big block of Europe, Central, like Southwest Asia, I guess, the Middle East, and the African area, which is very good. And let me zoom out there. Palestine in this situation is going to be gone. I know this isn't like, I don't think this would actually happen, like Saudi Arabia and all these guys ganging up against them. But yeah, it's going to happen here. But Oman, what did you even do? What are you even doing here? Nothing. Nothing. That's it. So pretty much the southern Middle East is taken for the blue team. But we still have this area up here. And Turkey is now trying to get folded. Yeah, it's not looking good here either. They're gonna need some help from like other areas. They're now forcing to like Kosovo, occupying North Macedonia and Serbia and all these dudes. Albania and Italy occupying Greece, just to help fight back down here a little bit, which they will. They will fight back just a little bit, but not too much. Not too much. That's all good and all, but it's only going to get worse over here in Asia. First, it gets worse for the red team, as all the Pacific islands conquer East Timor, and they slowly make their way on to Java, which is very grueling, and they lose a lot of dudes here. Everybody just dies. It's terrible. There's too many people living on this island, like seriously. But eventually, they will take over a little bit of it, so that's good. And then they'll start taking over this island. This is the weirdest shaped island ever. and they'll make a landing onto Borneo. Once we get here, Malaysia's kind of gonna re-liberate themselves. Brunei's gonna be gone, and eventually, basically what I'm getting at here is that Indonesia's dead. They're cooked. They got nothing. So, while that was happening, however, that happened. This happened. This happened. Probably some of this happened. And then maybe a little bit of that. So, yeah. This isn't looking good. Because Japan is breached. But, eventually the forces will be relocated. And then, the Philippines are pretty much reliberated. Same thing with same thing with Vietnam. It's gonna kind of reliberate themselves, and Laos is gonna be taken back. They're gonna be taken a little bit in Myanmar, and now the Indian forces are moving full steam into China. And what's China doing? Well, they're focusing on Japan, who at this point is getting a lot of help from the U.S. But even so, they are kind of a lost cause. But the bigger distraction, the better, so that the Indians can do stuff. And there's no nukes in the situation, or the Pakistanis and Indians would be all at war. They would have been dead. But Pakistani capital is taken. I do not know the name of it. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it if I can't remember it. But yeah, they're going to be mainly taken over. Which isn't looking that good for them, but they will lose a little bit of this area right here. So overall, the front lines have became a lot simpler, very simple. And now we can look back at some other areas, specifically South America, as they are getting folded. It's the 5th time I've used this, at least in this video. And they're going to keep marching down Peru. Peru is just taking their forces back here. And then they're going to try to hold out in Lima. Yeah, I'm terrible at pronouncing these. And there's going to be this strip of land called Chile, who is who has most of Peru under their belt now. But while that was happening, Brazil kind of focused there more, to where this area, we need to change that color, I don't like that, to where this area is like less guarded, so like they can like do this, and like some of this, but not too much. There's a limit. But at this point, these guys, they're all gonna break a deal with the United States. It's kind of like, I guess, leader of the blue team, along with, like, I would say leaders are the USA, like a leader from every continent. USA, Brazil, France, India, and Australia, as well as like Algeria. Egypt, sure. So all of them are like the leaders here. And then for the other team, it's like Russia for Europe, China for Asia, probably Angola at this point, or the DRC for the red team, and Argentina for the red team here, and Mexico was North America, but they're all going to surrender basically. That's what I'm getting at here. And in return, their governments aren't going to be flipped too much. They're allowed to keep everything basically, but at the cost of like no reparations. They're not going to get any help. So with that, it's getting pretty bad. But the red team now here is basically the everywhere up here is folded. Everywhere over here is folded. Moldova's back. And slowly but surely, they're gonna reconquer some of these guys. Because Russia's sending like all their forces here now. because China took over Japan already, so they have nothing else to worry about besides for their Turkish front line, which is still going very good. But meanwhile, over here, India is reaching up with Kuwait, so they have all the Persian Gulf now, which is crazy to think about. I guess it really is getting renamed to the Arabian Gulf. But anyway, Pakistan is gone. Yeah, that's about it. That's all that happened. I mean, there's still going to be some forces here, but they surrendered. So that's that. I mean, unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people would still been fighting because it's the Indians and they hate them. But so yeah, maybe it looks more like this with less emphasis down here. But China is now refocusing on Vietnam. They're not really focusing on India yet, but they do have some forces there. And they're back into Laos. And Vietnam is getting cooked here. The Philippines is getting cooked here. Everyone's dying. That's about it. Everyone's dying. And eventually, these two will be liberated at the cost of like a mini troops. Like this took a long time. But they're pretty much fully re-liberated. But the Australian troops are like moving up into here. So like, they have some stuff, and eventually South Vietnam pops back up. And it looks like China and Russia aren't really going to get anywhere anymore. And looking back down here, yeah, it's I might be glazing blue team here. Okay, I might be giving them a lot of support or whatnot, whatever. But yeah, it just genuinely isn't looking good for them. Yeah, I might be glazing them too much. But getting Sal's back. These islands over here are back. But the only area where they're really like fully winning is this area right here. And just like this, boom, all that area is taken. Egypt, however, is now kind of focusing most of their forces down here. Eritrea is kind of re-liberated. But now the Saudi Arabians are focusing their troops up here. They're kind of just forgetting that these guys exist down here and letting them do whatever they want if they forget about each other. Which may or may not be some deals they signed. But Iraq is gone. Iran is trying to hold out. They are actually pushing back these guys actually by a lot. And they do make a landing into the UAE. That goes semi-successful. No, it's not right. Red. Which they capture about that much land back, but barely hasn't gone anywhere. And yeah. By this point, you can you still really can't tell who's winning, but the blue team's overwhelmingly winning. Aside for like Europe and Asia. And yeah, going back to Asia, it's probably looking very different here now. That's probably happened. And then South Asia is more of a lost cause than you would think. But they are still holding out a little bit. And in fact, they are fully kicked out of the Philippines. So that's something. Probably not going to try to land there again, but, you know, whatever. They're just trying to get the war over at this point. And, at this point, yeah, they are fighting a lot. But most of this is just sending their troops into Europe with Russia. And that actually helps a lot. Like, they're doing technically not good things. It's just not good. People are dying. But then again, they are winning. So do what you will with that. But they landed in Italy, so that's not good. And now Turkey is kind of surrounded here. They're cut off from everywhere. Turkey's just trying to survive, man. They're going to send some more forces out that way. But they're going to lose some area over here. And now the U.S. is like personally, like they're sending, everyone's sending supplies over here. So I want to try to link this back up, because if they can do that, then they're gold. Because they can control the Mediterranean again. So they go through Italy, they go through Greece, and I want to say this is basically what the U.S. is doing now, and the Allies over here are doing. The other thing they're doing though is landing here. Yeah, at this point they either surrender or they're just gone. So at this point, some people are going to be asked to opt out on both sides, and some of those people being just people who are tired and want to surrender. So for some reason it's this dude right here. Car probably doesn't look like this. Probably looks like more like that. So the Republic of the Congo surrenders. To the red team, however, some people that surrender. Yeah, were these guys down here? Who was it? I was gonna say someone. At this point, the Philippines probably surrender because they're trying to stage landing once they're again. They surrendered. Thailand is going to surrender. So now it's kind of down here that's holding out. They're trying to save them. But by this point, Myanmar is gone. And India is very scared because they're losing a lot. So now it's looking like the red team also has an advantage. But we forget that all the New World is basically here. And slowly but surely, they will be winning over here. But they're not really sending any help to Europe anymore. Like South America is solely focused on Africa. So you know, this is being celebrated by people on the blue team, but definitely not on all the other teams. Because yeah, eventually these guys will either surrender or they just die. They picked one. And Eritrea and Djibouti finally paid off. They were like the first to be captured, I think. They were up there. And slowly but surely, more stuff will happen. But it's kind of like a race between time, who can get to where faster. And I gotta say, the Chinese are going very fast. All of these areas right here are captured. And even the Solomon Islands are captured. Captured back. And that's pretty much all they do. They don't really go into Australia. Their navies are definitely fighting. Because now they're going to be going into India for the first time. And kind of press up against the front lines, and this is a very big battle. Like, there's so much happening here. So many people are dying in this whole war. Everybody's just dead, probably, if this happened in real life. But, yeah. So, they won in about 3 continents. They're losing in the rest. Speaking of the rest, Ankara was just captured. And yeah, Turkey will fully surrender. Cyprus will too. And Lebanon will, for some reason, they will surrender. So these troops are now moving down into here. And eventually, slowly but surely, like I said, more and more areas are going to be captured of Europe. until eventually we have a peace deal, which is like crazy, because the red team knows they aren't going to win, but the blue team knows if this was to go on for any longer that they wouldn't win. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to look at a treaty, and basically only governments are going to be changed. So like different sides. So maybe Mexico joins the blue team, which yeah, they automatically are. That's one of the things. So let's go ahead and look at the treaty. And here's the map, and there are some very interesting things. But to get into it, the blue team will go ahead and gain all of North America. Peru, Bolivia, Paraguay, and Uruguay will join the blue team kind of side of government, like the Western people basically. Africa, a ton of people here, just a ton of governments were changed here. Now it's like rare to be red leaning. Same thing for the Middle East. Most of it's blue. That's not supposed to be like that. But yeah, most of it's blue here. Europe, it's kind of 50-50. It's more red than blue, I would say. A lot of it got changed to red. Asia, it's overwhelmingly, in Eastern Asia especially, overwhelmingly red. All of these guys got changed. Cambodia flipped for some reason. Most of the guys down here actually flipped because of the change, and Pakistan joins the blue team as well. That's one of the big changes. Honestly, I think in the treaty, I think if there was another war from this point on, the red team would probably win. There'd be some distractions, like in South America and Africa. But once those are through, the blue team would focus on Europe, and then I think Asia and Oceania would fall easily, including South Asia, would fall over to the red team. So yeah, if you want to see that, like another part where we do a war based off the treaty, then share support. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.